gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to Rubber Sports Show. I'm your host, Robert. Alright, as we get ready for the Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania, we got the best of the Royal Rumble. This is the 33rd annual Royal Rumble match. We've had the Royal Rumble each and every year, the last 27 since 1993. The winner of the Rumble goes on to WrestleMania for a world title shot. Of those 27 previous WrestleMania title shots, the winner is 15, 10, and 2. There are two people who won the Rumble who did not get their title shot at WrestleMania for whatever reason. That was from WrestleMania 13, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and then WrestleMania 15, Vince McMahon. Those two Royal Rumble winners did not get a title shot at Mania. On the women's side, there's been two women's Royal Rumble matches. They are 1-1. Becky Lynch won the title last year. Asuka did not win the title the year before. Of the last 10 Royal Rumble winners going on to WrestleMania on the men's side, they're 3-7. So out of the last 10 Rumble winners going to Mania, only 3 times have they walked out of Mania as a champion. They always advertise to main event WrestleMania. Well, only 13 times has the Royal Rumble winner actually main evented. Of the last 13 Manias, only 4 Rumble winners have been in the main event. And those 13, the Royal Rumble winner is 6-7 at Mania. What is the best spot to be in for the Royal Rumble to win? Well, number 27 has produced the most winners, 4 in 89, 93, 94, and 01. 24 has produced 3 winners in 91, 98, and 2000. That coveted number 30 spot has produced 3 winners in 2007, 2008, and 2016. Number 1, we have Brock Lesnar starting in 2020, has produced 2 winners in 95 and 04. And the number 2 slot has produced 2 winners as well in 99 and 06. In the 33-year history of the Royal Rumble, twice it has been for the World Heavyweight title, and that was in 1992, the vacated title when Ric Flair became champion. Woo! And in 2016, when Triple H told Roman Reigns he needed to defend the title in the Royal Rumble match, Tripp ended up winning the title on that one, coming out number 30. Some records for the Rumble. The longest in any single Rumble we had from 2006, 62 minutes. We had Rey Mysterio. He came out number 2. The previous record was from 2004. Chris Benoit, 61 minutes. He came out number 1. In 1993, the old record was Bob Backlund. Came out in number 2, and he was in there for 61 minutes and change. We had 3 people that's been in there right at 60 minutes and change. In 2006, Triple H was in there 60 minutes. He came out number 1. 2017, Chris Jericho was in 60 minutes and change, coming out number 2. And Ric Flair in 1992, he was in there for 60 minutes, came out number 3, and ended up winning the World Heavyweight Championship. On the women's side, yes, we've only had 2, 2018, 2019. We've had some women that's been in there for some amount of time as well. Natalya last year, 56 minutes. 2018, Sasha Banks, 54 minutes. 2019, Ember Moon, 52 minutes. In 2019, Charlotte Flair, 50 minutes. 2018, Becky Lynch, 30 minutes. And then in 2019, Lacey Evans, 29 minutes. As we look at all these Rumbles, there's a lot of Rumble memories if you think about all the Rumbles you've ever watched. Some of the more memorable ones, I got what I would consider the top 10 Rumble matches based on star rating. Each of them has, I'd say most of them have that one moment. You're like, oh yeah, I remember that. Either who won, how they came out, who the final 4 were. So number 10 on my list comes from 2006. It was a 62-minute Rumble. This is the one where Rey Mysterio won from the number 2 slot. The final 4 was Mysterio, Randy Orton, Triple H, and RVD. Number 9 on the list, I ended up giving it 3.5 stars. It was actually the shortest of the 30-man Royal Rumbles. It lasted a short 38 minutes, which was weird. It just, I've gone back and watched this a couple times now. It's like, it starts, it's over almost. The final four was Shawn Michaels, British Bulldog, Crush, and Lex Luger. The British Bulldog and Shawn were the final two. They were the first two. It was only 38 minutes. At that time, at that particular Rumble, they came in every minute. And so it's like boom, 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 elimination, elimination, done. Bulldog, Shawn ended up winning. Number 8 on the list, I gave it 3.5 stars as well, from 2010. This was the return of the Rated R Superstar at number 29. Edge has one of the greatest return songs ever. Because it just starts out, you think you know me. It's like, holy shit, you just get goosebumps hearing it. And the thought of possibly hearing it in 2020 has me giddy up about the Rumble. So Edge came out at 29. Then we had John Cena, Dave Bautista, and Shawn Michaels. Edge getting the victory. In 2002, I ended up giving that Rumble match 3.5 stars. The final four was Triple H, Kurt Angle, Mr. Perfect, and Stone Cold. Thinking about that era of professional wrestling, what was that, WrestleMania? So 2002 would have been WrestleMania, hold on, 8? Hold on, what the hell, I can't do math right now. So 16, 17, so 2018, so that's WrestleMania 18. Tripp, Kurt, Mr. Perfect, Stone Cold. So you had Tripp and Kurt kind of on that upward string of their career. You had Stone Cold and Mr. Perfect kind of on that downward spiral. Tripp ended up getting the victory there and going on to WrestleMania. Number 6 on the list was the 2001 Rumble. I gave it 3.5 stars. You had Stone Cold coming out at number 27. So this was a lead up to, I think it was WrestleMania 17 if I remember correctly. And it was Stone Cold, The Rock, Kane, and Billy Gunn in the final four. Stone Cold getting the victory. His one of 3 wins in the Royal Rumble for only man ever to win 3 times. Number 5, 2004, I give it 3 3/4 stars. We had, start to finish, we had Chris Benoit out there from number 1 to number 30, getting the victory. Big Show, Kurt Angle, and Chris Jericho were the final 4. At that era, Chris Benoit and Chris Jericho had a great feud going on. They were doing a lot of stuff with the IC title. It was kind of that moment where Benoit was able to win the Rumble, go on the Mania. I believe he won the World Title at Mania that year. Him and Eddie Guerrero. I think Guerrero defended his title and Benoit won the title. So it was kind of neat seeing those former WCW Cruiserweight guys, Chris Benoit and Eddie Guerrero. Now they're in WWF. Now they are the Elite World Champions. Last year's Rumble, I ended up giving a 3 3/4 stars too as well. We had the final 4 of Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, Dolph Ziggler, and Andrade. Seth getting the victory. Him going on to WrestleMania, as we all know now, beating the Beast and Carnage Brock Lesnar not only at WrestleMania, but also at SummerSlam. Just to have a fucking title back on Brock Lesnar, him not to be on TV. Yeah, whatever. Wow, just fucking retarded shit there. So yeah, having Seth getting the victory last year, kind of having that on his resume. Now we have the next 3 I end up giving 4 stars to. From 2016, the final 4, this is the one for the world title. We had Triple H, Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, who was champion going in, and Sheamus. I was really hoping they would give at that time, get Dean Ambrose the Royal Rumble victory and the world title. They did eventually give him a title, but I kind of wanted to see him as champion there. We ended up with Roman Reigns versus Tripp at Mania. It should have been Dean Ambrose and Tripp, and then Tripp putting Dean Ambrose over, but we didn't get that. Now 4 years later, we have Jon Moxley getting ready to face Chris Jericho for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship, so I'm fine with that too. I ended up getting that 4-star match. Number 2 on the list, also 4 stars from 2007. We had the final 4 of The Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Edge, and Randy Orton. So really, the 2 veterans, Shawn and Tripp, versus the 2 youngsters of Edge and Randy. Taker ended up getting the victory here. I believe he went on to face Edge at WrestleMania, if I remember correctly. No, that was Dave. He faced Dave at Mania that year. One of Dave's best matches ever. And then number 1 on the list, I ended up giving 4 1/4 to. Yes, J-Man, I put it number 1. You know the Rumble. We all know the Rumble. 2008, Madison Square Garden. The return after 5 months of injury. Plus been out 9. John Cena. When that music hit at number 30, I'm in the Pulse Dungeon and watching it with the Pulse guys. Actually, no, let's see. Oh wait, that would have been just me and J-Man. That was before the Pulse. That was before there was the Pulse Dungeon even. It was me, J-Man, beat Eddie J. That music hits. J-Man chucks a remote control across the dungeon, into the wall, picks it up and does it again. Because you know when you have that kind of return at number 30, there's no fucking way in hell he's not winning it. The final 4 that year was John Cena, Tripp, Dave Bautista, and Kane. Yeah, John Cena ended up winning the Rumble, going on to Mania, ended up winning the title at Mania. Those returns at Edge at 29, Cena at 30, those are the kind of returns you're like, I remember where I was at when that happened. Now, one thing the Royal Rumble is known for is that people returning from injury, people debuting. Are we going to have that in 2019 or 2020? Excuse me. Have to stay tuned to the preview and find out. Now, I know there's things I want to happen. Now, if you look at the main card, because typically the Rumble is going to be the main event. I didn't really rate the 2 women's Rumble matches. They both were good. When I come to the best women's matches on the Royal Rumble, the 2 women's Rumble will be involved in that. And we're going to that next. So the best women's matches that have been on the Royal Rumble card. 5 of the 10 have came from the last 3 years. So number 10 comes from 2011. We had a 4-way for the Divas title. We had Eve Torres versus Natalya versus Layla versus Michelle McCool. Eve Torres getting the victory and retaining her title in that 4-way. Natalya still there, still getting it on. Eve Torres, I think she was a talented woman who was too early in her career. It was too early in time for her. There's a lot of women that didn't get a chance to shine back in that era because women's wrestling wasn't looked at like it is now. I think, honestly, all 4 of these women, if they were current day in their prime, I think they would be talented. I think they would be right there with a Charlotte, with a Becky. Number 9 on the list comes from 2015, also a 2-star match. It was a women's tag match. It was Brie and Nikki Bella versus Natalya and Paige. The Bella twins getting the victory there. Rumor has it they may be returning to win the tag titles. Yay. Also a 2-star match coming from way back in 2002. We had Trish Stratus versus Champion Jazz. Trish getting the victory there and winning her women's title. 2009, also a 2-star match for the women's title. We had Melina versus the Glamazon and Beth Phoenix. Beth Phoenix losing to Melina. 2-star match. Again, Melina actually wrestles in NWA Power right now. I think if she would have been wrestling at this era in WWE, I think she would have. You'd look at her a lot better than you do, because she was in an era where women's wrestling was nothing. So number 6 on the list we have from 2017. We have the women's title. We have champion Charlotte Flair defending the title versus Bayley. Bayley was able to beat Charlotte's record of 41 straight pay-per-view wins. I believe that's what the number was, or whatever. It was some crazy number where she'd won a bunch of straight pay-per-views. Bayley ended up beating that. Bayley get the title there. Number 5 on the list comes from all the way back in 1988. The first ever Royal Rumble. We had the WWF Women Tag Team Championships on the line. Yes, there was a women tag title before the ones today. 2 out of 3 falls. 3-star match. We had the champion, the Glamour Girls, versus the Jumping Bomb Angels. The Jumping Bomb Angels became the champions. Do believe they were the last champions, and the title was deactivated shortly after that. Number 4 on the list comes from 2018. Ends up being the first ever Women's Royal Rumble match. The final 4 were the Bella Twins, Sasha Banks, and Asuka. Asuka getting the victory there, going on to WrestleMania and losing to Charlotte Flair. Number 3 on the list, I gave 3 3/4 star to. It was last year's SmackDown Women's title match. We had Becky Lynch challenging Asuka for the title. Asuka retained her title. As we all know, Becky went on to win the Royal Rumble and went on to main event WrestleMania. Fast forward 365 days, we have the Raw Women's title. Champion Becky Lynch versus Asuka. See how I pick on that one when you watch the review for the Royal Rumble. Number 2 on the list comes from 2019 as well. 3 3/4 star match. We had the Raw Women's title. We had champion Ronda Rousey defending her title versus Sasha Banks. Ronda defending the title, going on to WrestleMania to main event triple threat between Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, and Ronda Rousey. And the number 1, the best women's match in the history of the Royal Rumble pay-per-view was the 2018 Women's Royal Rumble match. I ended up giving it 3 3/4 star. Thought it was great. I enjoy seeing something I want to see it twice now. So far it's been really good, I think. The women have been really pulling it off. The final 4 last year was Becky Lynch, Charlotte Flair, Nia Jax, and Bayley. What was really cool about Becky winning that, she wasn't supposed to be in it. Lacey was in it. Lacey had hurt her ankle in the pre-show, limped out. Becky came out, basically took her spot and won it, went on to win the title at main event WrestleMania. Of the men's matches, we have the 10 best men's matches. These are from the history of the from 88 on. I think the oldest match here is 93, and the newest match is 2017. We have title matches, we have non-title matches. So yeah, we got a kind of a combination of everything. So number 10 on the list from 2014. When a men's single match, we had Bray Wyatt versus Daniel Bryan. Bray Wyatt getting the victory in a 4-star classic. Hey, let's fast forward 6 years. We have The Fiend versus Daniel Bryan for a title. Number 9 on the list comes from 1993, the Intercontinental title on the line. We had former tag team champions facing off on each other. We had the Rockers, Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, Intercontinental Champion versus his good buddy Marty Jannetty. After a super kick to the face, they are no longer good buddies. Shawn getting the victory there in a 4-star match. Just the beginning of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. Number 8 on the list comes from 1995. I gave this match 4 1/4 star. When you look back on this match, it was a great match. It was the champion Diesel, Big Daddy Cool Diesel, versus the Heartbreak Kid, versus the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, and Bret the Hitman Hart. Hart and Diesel at that era that was the main event feud. These guys had a great match, 4 1/4 star. It ended up in a draw. Normally I do not rate matches that high that in a draw, but I enjoyed the match. I thought it was great. Number 2 on the list comes from number 7 on the list. I can't talk today. It comes from 2002 with a 4 1/4 star match. The WWF World Heavyweight title on the line. Champion Y2J Chris Jericho versus The Rock. Chris Jericho beating The Rock here to retain his World Heavyweight Championship. 4 1/4 star. Number 6 on the list comes from 2016. It was the last man standing match for the Intercontinental Champion. Champion Dean Ambrose defending the title versus Kevin Owens. Ambrose was able to outlast the Kevin Owens and retain his title in a 4 1/4 star match. Number 5 for the WWE Championship from 2017. Champion the phenomenal AJ Styles versus John Cena. John Cena ended up beating AJ Styles here in a 4 1/4 star match. Number 4 coming from 2000. We had a street fight for the WWF title. We had champion Triple H versus Cactus Jack. Tripp ended up getting the victory in that street fight. 4 1/2 star match. Number 3 on the list comes from 2003. WWE Championship on the line. Champion Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist, versus the Canadian crippler Chris Benoit. Kurt Angle was able to outlast Benoit here and getting the victory by submission on a 4 3/4 star match. Number 2 comes from 2001, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Y2J versus the Intercontinental Champion Chris Benoit, the Crippler. Benoit ended up losing his Intercontinental Championship to Chris Jericho, 4 3/4 star match, and the best ever singles match, or best ever men's match at Royal Rumble history, probably the best match in Royal Rumble history. From 2015, a triple threat match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. We had Brock Lesnar versus John Cena versus that freaking kid, the freaking Seth freaking Rollins. Knowing how phenomenal Seth Rollins was as Tyler Black in Ring of Honor, watching him come through the NXT system, getting to the main roster with the Shield, winning the Money in the Bank the year before, going into this match, having the Money in the Bank briefcase, once he cashed it in, curb stomping Brock Lesnar in this match. I almost thought he was winning the title here. It was that believable. He did not win. Brock Lesnar ended up retaining. But that match was just incredible. I ended up giving it a 4 3/4 star. It was one of the best matches ever in Royal Rumble history. We're going to have that in 2020, and we don't know. Make sure you stay tuned to Robert Sports Show for the preview of Royal Rumble 2020. Thanks for watching the best of Royal Rumble. Hopefully next year when we do this, we'll have some moments from this year on there. Maybe we have a surprise debut in the Royal Rumble. Hell, maybe Killer Cross debuts in WWE. Maybe Jake Atlas debuts in WWE. Maybe it's somebody we don't know. Maybe the Kohler personality plays at Diamondback Stadium. Maybe we hear You Think You Know Me. Only time will tell. Can't wait to preview it. As always, thanks for watching Robert Sports Show. And don't just have a great day, have a spiffy day. Robert Sports Show, your YouTube leader, sports channel content.